Century's record profit? Mostly one time. The real driver? Tariffs. Here is the baseline everyone already holds. Aluminum is a brutal, cyclical commodity, and Century Aluminum spent most of the last decade bleeding cash and idling smelters. So when it suddenly posted a $337 million quarter, the obvious read was a commodity spike that is about to roll over. But here is the gap. Of that headline profit, about $321 million was one time. A $288 million gain from selling an idled smelter, plus a $33 million insurance payout. Strip the windfalls out, and adjusted net income was only $171 million. So is anything actually growing underneath? Think of it as a toll booth bolted onto the U.S. border. Every imported ton of aluminum now pays a 50% Section 232 tariff to get in, and that toll reprices every ton Century already makes inside the country. As a pure-play domestic smelter, Century collects that spread through a higher U.S. regional premium. It drives margins without selling a single extra pound. So, here is the number that survives the windfalls. The conventional view is that the whole quarter was an accounting mirage. Actually, recurring operating earnings, adjusted EBITDA, climbed from $171 million to $231 million in a single quarter, up 36%. Contrary to the consensus that dismissed it as noise, that gain came from tariffs and premiums, not the asset sale. Historically, this echoes 2018, when the first Section 232 aluminum tariffs, 10% under Trump, briefly lifted domestic smelter margins before fading into noise. That same policy force drives the story again. But the 2025 jump to 50% is 5 times the dose. And this time, Century is building a new 750,000-ton smelter in Oklahoma, the first new U.S. primary smelter since 1980, backed by a $500 million federal grant. So, which force wins? The tariff wall plus brand new capacity, or one trade deal that lets cheap imports back in and collapses the premium? Here is the takeaway. The $337 million headline was never the point. The real bet on Century is not the windfall, it is whether that $231 million recurring run rate holds, because that figure is policy-driven. And policy can change. Buying it now assumes the tariff regime stays. Watch the next quarter, not the headline. One last thing. The numbers here, the profit, the one-time gains, the tariff rate, come from Century's public filings and reporting. The reasoning about whether the turnaround holds is AI-assisted analysis, and it can be wrong. Pull the filings and the next earnings report yourself before you trust any conclusion.